Company got started at the end of 1997, 1998. So my early question is, I got into the industry through an amazing guy that gave me a chance to get into the business. And then 5 people got together. It was a young lady from Latvia named Vara, her husband, Richard Assam, a guy named Travis Bone, a guy named Bill Urquhart, and myself. And we started the company, 5 of us, and I'll tell you, like day one, we needed an industrial psychologist to work with us because it was just we had a coder, we had a designer, we had a husband, we had a business guy, we had all of us together at a very young age. As a matter of fact, we were really young when we started the company. And to me, when we first got together, just the 5 of us, we really felt that digital was a way to actually change the world and make our imprint in the world. We didn't realize necessarily that it was going through the change, the speed in which it was going to happen. Like at the time, I didn't know that Facebook was going to arrive, or mobile would be the driving force. But we knew that ultimately that we had to create, the space, and we knew that being a first leader in this would be a huge opportunity for us. So we set the stage. And quite honestly, we built this company up, for 10 years. And in 2005, we said, listen, we really focus on design and strategy. We needed to add technology, and we found this great company called Console, which had a great leader in it, Doug, and another great technologist named Chuck Phillips, and another partner named Ruby. And she had this. Ruby was great because she had this relationship with NBC, and so you had this like interesting company which was doing design work and strategy work, and then you had this other company that was doing like tech and infrastructure, and they were doing it for media entertainment. So the combination of the 2 businesses was really unique, and we got together, as a matter of fact, the company in 2005, and then at that point, the company just continued to grow. So that was the first, that's how we started the business, and then the reinjection of that is something I'll never forget, which is you got to always reinvent yourself. And then at that point in 2010, we ended up selling the business to WPP, and then built the business in there, and then now the business is like quadrupled in size, and now we're all over the world. And so every moment you needed someone to kind of take you to the next step and to the next phase of your life. And that's one thing I think that I'll never forget in business, is that you gotta go out there and just be naked to the world and listen for as much advice as possible, and kind of say, how can I learn from other people, and how do we co-collaborate to build something together, to build something bigger. And now, as I look at the future and these amazing people we have in this business, I look forward to seeing what they do now to take the business that we've built and take it to the next level. And so it's an exciting time. It's great for me to watch a business that I got a chance to build, and then watch a business I got a chance to kind of merge into something, and now watch it, take it the next step and be global and work with amazing brands from all over the world. So I'm really fortunate to be able to do that. And I was really, even more importantly, fortunate that people gave me an opportunity, partners gave me a chance to be who I was, and I was just surrounded with some really great people. And that's just a blessing that, you just always look back and say, God, I was really, really fortunate. And ultimately, that's what drove our success. I think there's a lot of interesting things happening today. I think there's several things moving around us. One of which is, the reality is the web has become very consolidated around Facebook and YouTube and Google. Snap's making a play in there, but it's generally been really consolidated. And you look at even on the e-commerce side, you have Amazon and Alibaba really driving it. Alibaba had record-breaking numbers actually this couple days ago. And I think that the trends are really going to be about, number one, how we can get much hyper-personalized to the consumer. Because ultimately, it's really about how do you get the information to the consumer, how do you create experiences around the consumer. So I think one of the biggest trends you're going to see is the intertwining of artificial intelligence, big data, and making that very specific and simple for the end user. And I see that as a huge trend, the combination of, how do we make content easy to digest, how do we make commerce easy to convert into, and how to make people's lives ultimately simpler. The more you can do that, the more simpler it's going to be. And I think that at the end of the day, we're going to see huge growth in those sectors. I think our industry is under tremendous challenges. I think number one is you have very large consulting firms that are moving downstream, because what's happening is everyone's trying to own the customer experience. And as a result of that, you have the consultants coming downstream, the Accentures of the world, the PwC of the world that are trying to play that role. You have the advertising agencies trying to figure out what does digital mean to them. You got digital agencies becoming full service. You have technology companies providing services. And I think we, as a forward-looking, forward-first, digital-first business, I think one of the things that are really important for us is we've got to think like a consultant, so we've got to be very digital minded. We've got to think about how to transform businesses. We've got to be very specific in terms of our ideation and creativity, like an agency. And then we have to function like a tech firm. I mean, we got to work like agile. We're going to move quick and move fast. And so the biggest threat we have in our industry is people or companies are unable to pull that together and do that at a global scale are going to really struggle in the years ahead. And I think we're very well poised against it. But I do believe that's going to be a huge challenge. There's a lot of competitors, and the CMO and the marketing teams, the technology teams are trying to figure out where to invest their dollars. And I think that's going to be a huge challenge ahead of everybody. I mean, first of which is ultimately anything we do to get closer to the consumer is what's important. I mean, anything we can do that can get closer to the consumer, the customer, is where we've got to be. We should be able to entertain people. We should be able to create amazing experiences for people. And I think as a business, we're really driving against that. Ultimately, we should be in the business of making products and services that people want. We should be being able to connecting people through these digital ecosystems and then helping them make their purchase decision in retail or online much simpler. And the closer we can get to that in between, the more successful we're going to be as a business. And I think that when we look ahead in terms of where we see the kind of market moving, the collection of talent that we have in an agency is really unique, and be able to kind of interject that with the clients we do business with and create these really collaborative moments is going to be incredibly critical. So that's kind of where I see directionally the business going. I think what's next is I think you're going to see us continue to change and evolve. I think that what's going to happen in cars or big cities. So I think that our cities are becoming more digital. Cars continue to get more digital. I think companies like ourselves are going to have this huge opportunity to really create the thread of how people communicate and how people transact. Create everything from the experiences to the technology to the marketing that supports it. So that's what I really see ahead of us. It's going to be us getting beyond just the digital world into a physical digital world. Everything from VR, AR, and everything in between, cars, touchscreens, you name it, we'll be touching it. People is really it. I mean, we've got to continue to do more and more for the people that work here. And I think one of the challenges you have is you have employees that are in a situation where the market's really, really hot for them. So they're getting paid X amount of dollars. We have clients that are saying, hey, we need you to spend less money on the work we do, and we have to figure out what the balance is. And I really think that some of the key initiatives are really focusing on the people and then focusing with our clients to figure out how do we make sure that the business models between both organizations are really functional, where our employees win and our clients win, and that in between and that kind of that connection is going to be super critical, and really where I'm 100% focused on this year. Our team and our clients, and how do we figure out what's the best working relationship as we move forward. We've had our bumps. I mean, I've lived through global economy breakdowns. I've lived through the dot-com bust. I've lived through recessions. I've lived through everything you can imagine. I've lived through selling a company to joining a bigger company. I think at the end of the day, it's really about leadership and people. And there's no right answer to it. I mean, sometimes you feel like you're going off a cliff and you just can't see the other side. And my advice to everyone is you just got to keep plugging away and just one day at a time, one foot in front of the other, and eventually you'll find your way. And we've experienced that. We've experienced difficult times. We've experienced really great times. But I really believe it's the difficult times that really build character. And once you're growing and you're moving in the right direction, there's nothing like it. I mean, when you go through difficult times and you get a chance to see really great times, it's an amazing experience. So I would say that to me, my biggest lessons learned is just one foot in front of the other, never give up, and just really make sure that you focus on people and culture, and that will see you through any situation. I mean, ideally for me, the clients we do business with should be our biggest brand ambassadors. And if the people that we do business with don't love our team and our team don't love our clients, then you don't have a relationship. Ultimately, the best success I've seen, we have clients, we have 15 plus year relationship, is when the teams here love the business they work on and the clients love the team that they have working on the business. And so for me, the ultimate goal from an experience perspective is make sure we really connect the amazing people we have with clients that want those amazing people and want to figure out how we can collaborate and grow together, because it's never perfect. We're in the people business. People are unperfect because of that. And as a result of that, the more you can work together through relationship, the more you speak, the more you communicate, the more successful you're ultimately going to be. So that's what I'd say about experience. I think for me, you got to allow people to make tough decisions. It's really hard. As a leader, one of the things that's really difficult, I've always been like a street fighter, so I've always got my hands dirty and really been in the game. And sometimes it's really hard to sit back and say, hey, I'm going to kind of coach you from the sideline and help you go through the process, even though you know the answer. I think the worst thing you can do is give someone an answer to the test. I think what makes people really successful are them trying to work through a problem and figuring out the questions. There's nothing more gratifying for an individual to actually figure out how to solve things and how to work through things. And I think that once you figure that out, you're incredibly independent. You're going to feel incredibly charged about your future and what you can do. You're going to feel much more in control. And so my biggest thing, my lesson learned is really be supportive and really make sure that you're influencing people to make good decisions, but allow them to ultimately make decisions, allow them to fail and allow them to succeed. What's unique about our business and why I really never get tired of it, because you're forever like a millennial. You're forever in this youthful environment. You have all these different personalities. You have some people with tattoos, some people with different hair, some people different. We're all different here. And I think the ability to work together, all these different people to solve a common problem, to me is really important. So my advice to you out there is, number one, just be yourself. Love what you do, be passionate about it. If you're not passionate about where you work or what it is you do, then it just isn't a place for you, and there's nothing wrong with that. And ultimately it's about making sure that you create an environment that supports who you are and you're in an amazing diverse place. So my recommendation is, just be great at what you do great, really focus on an environment that supports your culture and your DNA, and ultimately just make sure that you're part of a team and helping grow with purpose and motivation.